right, welcome back to SF Vortex. We've made it down to the war room, and joining me today, Mr. Daniel Bernardi is here, author of Star Trek and History, Racing Toward a White Future, and other books and articles on science fiction, film, and television. And, ladies and gentlemen, he is the head writer on one of my favorites, Highlander. He's Mr. David Abramowitz, and we welcome him. And a newcomer to the war room, Star Trek's talented Michael Piller, co-creator of DS9 and Voyager, and he's the second most famous graduate from the University of North Carolina. All right, guys, topic number one, cross-pollination between TV and movies. Let's face it, it's increasing year after year. Some critics, not this one, but a lot of critics are saying it's a bankruptcy of ideas on both sides of the genre. Do you agree, David Abramowitz?
If an idea is good and it works in a movie, why not do it as a feature? I mean, why not do it as a television series? Certainly when Shakespeare wrote plays, if you watch Hamlet or you watch something else as a movie, it plays as a movie. Why not? Why can't you do things in lots of different
Yeah, but the mediums are different. I mean, in television you have an emphasis on ensemble casts, on relationships, on dialogue, where in film it's event-driven. I mean, we go to movies on dates with friends for a spectacle, for an event. So some TV shows don't quite make it, and some films don't quite make it the other way as well.
Michael Piller, what do you think?
I think that television's a business.
Right.
And the reason why you're seeing television taking movie titles is because they have inherent audience identification. And then it's just a question of finding the right execution for those shows in order to make them work.
Okay.
I don't think it has to do with bankruptcy of ideas. It is what ideas have an advantage over the unknown ideas.
Okay, so we settle that by saying if the idea works, go with it.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to a viewer letter, shall we? John Russell writes, movies from TV usually work well due to the lack of time constraints and absence of commercials. But movies to TV usually don't work. The characters and events of the movie are often lost or redefined to fit the small screen. Michael Piller, is he right?
Well, I haven't had that much experience in doing this sort of thing. What do you think?
I think, well, Highlander works as a TV series. It's been on, it's going into 6th year. MASH works as a TV series. It went on for 12 15 years, something like that. You know, it goes back to if the idea is good and if the idea works, it works in television.
Okay, Daniel?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but there's something to the fact that, you know, MASH was an ensemble cast. And so you had a lot of relationships and you get a lot of dialogue. And the event wasn't important. And I think that's why that made it. Highlander made it because it's a great concept. It's a great idea, you know, and it wasn't carried by a star. However, I think the norm is most don't make it. Most you can't make the transition. I think it's harder to make the transition from film to TV than the other way around because film is such a star-driven medium.
Okay, David, now you have transformed this Highlander, my favorite show, by the way. Well, second favorite, Babylon 5. It's back and forth every week. Anyway, you took this thing from a film to television. You made it work. How did it work? Why did it work for you guys?
I think we had a great star in Adrian Paul. I think that it's a strong concept. What's it like to be immortal? What's it like to live for 500 years? What moral questions can you get into? It's a great action adventure. It's a great venue for action adventure and morality plays, so it works.
Okay. Well, you know, movies do have a beginning, middle, and end. Most of them do anyway, and television requires some kind of continuing conflict to be in place in order to justify a series week after week. If the feature franchise does not provide that conflict, it does make it difficult, I think, to make that transformation.
Daniel?
Yeah, I know, that's exactly what I was trying to say, said better. That, you know, it does. TV has to go every week. You got to get the person to tune in. If you think about it from the point of view of the audience, right? We don't go watch TV for the same reasons we go see a movie. And that makes the big difference, in my opinion.
Okay. Viewer letter number 2. It's from T.M. Spell, who writes, I think that it is very important to have the original characters from the series in the movie. Okay. Mr. Piller, Star Trek, of course, uses the series, you know, in the movie. What's the advantage there of having, I mean, other than the obvious?
Well, the obvious is that the audience has an expectation, and you don't want them to be disappointed when they come into the theater. If you had called the Star Trek Next Generation movie by that title but had an entirely new cast, I think you would have lost the entire advantage that having a hit television show gave that franchise.
Right.
Okay. David, now you guys went kind of a different way.
from the movie to the series.
Absolutely. Now, what are the disadvantages of that? Were there any disadvantages?
No, I don't think so. I think that everyone would like to see Connor, the original character.
Christopher Lambert, of course.
Yes,
Maybe
but
we can bring him back for season 6.
If you could write a very large check, we probably could.
Okay.
Well, that's the bottom line.
That is the bottom line.
You can't really go the other way very easily
No,
because
it's impossible.
the money that you pay to feature actors is just not going to work on a weekly basis for a television show.
Right.
So, Daniel, it all comes down to the money?
Well, it comes down to the money. It comes down some stars can't make it on the big screen. You know, we don't
Name me
go
one.
see. Well, I'm not. Well, we go see Star Trek for Picard and Brett Spiner's
Darn right
data.
we
We
do.
don't see it for the rest of the
Well, that's
cast.
about
They're
10
important.
million right there,
Yeah, they're
right off the bat.
important.
I don't
I
think
don't-
I agree with that.
Oh, come on. You can't make a Star Trek film with the lead character being Dr. Crusher. You have to have a Picard.
But the appeal of Star Trek, and since I'm going to be working on the next movie, I hope I'm right about this, is that Picard is the patriarch of a family. And it is the adventures of this family as they go exploring through space and how they help each other get through the most difficult of circumstances that I think is the key to the significance of
He might,
Star
yeah,
Trek's
he might,
success.
he might be the patriarch to the family, but he carries the narrative. The story revolves around him. Brent Spiner can't revolve around any of the supporting characters because he can carry over to the big
And
screen.
television-
He's got star quality.
And we can't go on without paying a few bills, so let's go to a break. But don't go anywhere, folks. There's lots more here in the War Room. I might even get a little bit of a hint of what's coming up in that next Star Trek film from Mr. Pillar. Don't go anywhere. We're right back. All right, welcome back to SF Vortex. We are still in the War Room with writers David Abramowitz, Daniel Bernardi, and Star Trek's Michael Pillar. Mr. Pillar, the advantages of doing Star Trek week after week on a television series over the motion picture.
Well, we were just talking about the supporting cast and the other players besides the captain, and essentially you have the freedom to develop those characters over 26 weeks and 26-hour episodes. That's something you can't do in a feature film once every 2 years.
Right. Daniel Bernardi, something in the past Star Trek films that you haven't seen that you want to see in the upcoming Star Trek film?
Oh, well, that's...
Come on, let's talk about it.
Can I take your pen and take some notes here?
Yeah, go right.
Take some notes. I got one better for that. I can tell you what I don't want to see.
Okay.
I don't want to see good data, bad data. I don't want to see another time travel. You know, and I don't want to see another enemy like the Borg pacified and ruined in the film.
But we want to see lots of the Borg Queen.
And I'll tell you something else. No, and we want to see more Brent Spiner and more Picard conflict, which was really evident in the series, but kind of didn't make it into the feature films, which I thought was a nice backstory in the
I
series.
can't go into the subject material of the new movie. I'm
Right.
sorry. I can say that there is time travel, and there is the good data, bad data,
Okay.
and there is a villain that we totally ruin. But aside from that, I can't go into the specifics.
So you're just
Villain
redoing
totally
first contract.
ruined. Okay, we got that. All right, let's move on to my next topic. And Mr. Abramowitz, it's for you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
Movies like Lost in Space. Okay.
Yes.
Or why do we bring back Lost in Space as a feature film rather than let's bring it back as a TV series? Why not?
Because someone thought they could make a great deal of money bringing it back as a movie.
Oh, so here we are back to the money thing again.
Well, you know, it's
Funny about that.
it's
Isn't
why
that amazing?
people are in the business, I
That's
think.
why they call it show business.
That's exactly why they call it show business.
Is that the reason, Mr. Pillar?
that they call it show business. Is that the
What-
reason?
what do you think of maybe Lost in Space?
Space is the second most known television franchise next to Star Trek. So why not try to do what they did with Star Trek and turn it into a feature film franchise and make lots of money? Everybody would like to create a new franchise for feature films. You know, feature films are becoming more like television because
Right.
they want the franchise that they can do 3 or 4 movies over the next several years.
Yes, another reason why they wouldn't make it, I think, another sitcom is because, you know, those actors are gone, and so they'd have to recast the whole show. The great thing about Star Trek with the motion picture is that they were able to bring back the original stars, and that had the carryover effect.
Okay. Mr. Pillar, before we let you go, there's nothing you can give us a little hint, because, you know, all our viewers find out that you're coming on the show and that everybody wants to talk about.
I can tell you that Rick Berman and I have been working on a story that is going to advance the franchise, is going to change relationships, is going to see some very dramatic changes in the character of Picard and of Data, and you'll get your conflict.
Okay.
We're going to get that conflict. All right. Okay, there you have it. We got to get out of here. I want to thank my guests, Mr. David Abramowitz from Islander, Daniel Bernardi, and Mr. Michael Pillar. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Will you come back sometime?
Absolutely.
And
I've been here before.
Before we get out of here, though, season number 6, it's going to happen. We're coming back. Give us a little preview. Come on, a little something now. You can't give us anything?
We'll understand the nature of evil.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you're going to tell us.
That's
I got a lot
That's
of
all.
people out there that want to know
That's
about
all.
the
Finally.
show.
Been waiting a while.
I got a lot of people out here. They want
Finally.
answers. It's the War Room. All right. All right. Lots more in the Vortex. Don't go anywhere. Don't forget, folks, you're watching SF Vortex, recognized around the galaxy as your leader in science fiction entertainment. See you in a minute.